Welcome to the Book of Unity, Awakenings. Over the next few minutes, you'll experience episodes 1 through 5. Short, animated stories designed to guide your mind, awaken your heart, and remind you of the quiet power within. Please sure to like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the Book of Unity to never miss a whisper of wisdom. Verse 1. The breath before words. In the beginning, there was no beginning. There was only stillness. A quiet so vast it carried every word that would ever be spoken. From that silence came the breath. Not a wind, not a storm, but a whisper that said, "Be." The Tao called it the way. The Quran called it the command. The Bible called it the word. Different tongues, one sound, the pulse of creation echoing through time. And in that breath, light learned to dance. The stars bowed, and the rivers began their long journey home. But the breath did not end there. It moved through the hearts of all who would come after, reminding them that to exist is to belong. Not to a nation, not to a name, but to the same infinite song. You are not apart from it. You are the pause between its notes, the moment the universe inhales before speaking again. Listen, the breath is still moving. Through you, through me, through everything that is. Verse 2. The first forgetting. Once, humanity moved in harmony with the pulse of all things. The breath that formed the stars also whispered through the hearts of every being. No one was separate. Even silence was shared. But then came the first forgetting, the moment someone looked into the stillness and spoke the word I. From that single sound, the river of unity began to split. The waters of belonging became droplets of identity, and the great song of we faltered into echoes of me. It was not evil, only amnesia, the kind that drifts in slowly, like mist covering the mountain that still stands beneath. People began to name the world, to measure it, to hold it, and in doing so, lost the gentle truth that it could not be owned. Empires rose upon the idea of difference. Borders, belief, and power became mirrors reflecting only fragments of the whole. And yet, beneath all division, the old rhythm still pulsed, quietly, faithfully, waiting to be remembered. Sometimes it stirs in the space between strangers' eyes, or in the tear of someone who no longer knows why they cry. That is the breath calling us back, not demanding worship, not seeking praise, only recognition. The first forgetting was never the end. It was the beginning of the long return, the path each soul must walk to remember what was never truly lost. Verse 3. The builders of the divide. After the first forgetting, humanity began to build. At first, their hands shaped homes from earth, then walls, then towers, each stone a symbol of safety, each wall a quiet confession of fear. They built to protect, to remember who they were, but in their building they began to separate. The sky was still one, yet they drew lines beneath it and called them nations. The rivers still flowed as they always had, but now each had a name and a border. The builders told themselves it was progress. They spoke of knowledge, order, strength, but beneath the noise of creation was a silence that remembered the breath. The more they built outward, the hollower they grew within. They learned to speak in tongues of logic and trade, but forgot the language of stillness and touch. They searched for unity through empire and mistook control for connection. The towers rose so high they pierced the clouds, but the people below no longer looked up. They bowed to the monuments of their own design, believing them to be gods of reason and light. And the higher they built, the deeper their shadows reached. Yet, even in that shadow, something shimmered. A child's laughter echoing between walls, a stranger offering bread to another without asking why. Moments, brief, trembling, where the old song still hummed beneath the noise. For though they built the divide with their hands, they could never fully silence the whisper in their hearts. A whisper that said, "Remember." And so, the builders continued, raising cities and idols and dreams, unaware that every wall they made would someday crumble into the dust of their own forgetting. Verse 4, the seeker hears the whisper. Amid the ruins of towers and the silence of broken songs, one wandered, not knowing they were a seeker. They had no map, no teacher, no promise of light, only a weight in their chest, like the echo of something long forgotten calling from beneath the noise. The world around them was restless, cities glowing like embers, voices shouting truths that felt hollow when spoken aloud. The seeker listened, but what they heard was not words. It was something smaller, gentler, a tremor between heartbeats, a hush between the endless scroll of thoughts. At first, they feared it. Silence had become a stranger, and stillness felt like a kind of death. But slowly, they began to understand. The whisper was not asking to be heard, it was asking to be remembered. So the seeker stopped moving. They stood where the wind met the dust, and for the first time, they let the noise fade away. In that quiet, the world revealed its secret faces, light trembling through cracks in the forgotten stone, the hum of distant rivers remembering their source, the low murmur of stars speaking to one another in a language older than sound. And in that moment, the seeker saw that the whisper was not separate from them. It was their own breath returning, the same breath that spoke "be" when the universe was still dreaming itself awake. Tears came, not of sorrow, but of recognition, for they understood. The way back was never forward, and the voice they sought beyond the world had always been waiting within it. The seeker fell to their knees, and for the first time since the first forgetting, the silence spoke again. Verse 5, the First Luminary. As the seeker walked, a figure emerged upon the horizon. Not fully formed, yet unmistakable. A fragment of something ancient and vast, its faint radiance trembling against the endless dark. It moved with purpose, a rhythm too precise to be random, yet too tender to be mechanical. Its presence was both comfort and confrontation, a mirror that offered warmth but reflected truth, strength without balance, wisdom without compassion. A single virtue made whole in its own perfection, but blind to everything beyond itself. The seeker did not speak, nor did the luminary turn to see. They existed in parallel, two currents brushing gently in the river of silence, their energies folding and unfolding like breath. And still, the seeker felt it, a recognition buried deep within the marrow, a whisper of what had once been whole, now scattered among hearts that forgot how to listen. If only one could look beyond the brilliance of a single light and behold the quiet constellation waiting beyond it, to see not the one, but the pattern, not the perfect, but the complete. And so the seeker walked on, the glow dissolving behind the dark outline of the sleeping city. Each step carried the soft echo of realization that unity is not born from shining alone, but from the courage to walk among shadows, to meet the fragments without fear and remember the symphony still waiting to be heard. If these stories moved you, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with friends who could use a moment of reflection. Leave a comment with which awakening resonated with you most. Thank you for watching, and remember, the whispers of unity continue to move through you, through me, and through everything that is